magana ni asante maise Otumfuo Osei Tutu otosumi no se wohwewachio Krabi asante kotokodishe Otumfuo Osei Tutu otosumi ni obele manim diefo na dwene modo ohin Solomon kukodufo onyansani a obi atentenene no wadwen papa enhyehyɛ papa waya magana ni asante mai enwomasua ahunidie ni mpomden sa ni manya nkoso.
Which we are entering this. We are the national gas company. We've operated pipelines for 45 years. We've built some capability, but we also have a lot to learn. And I think we've entered into this arrangement with Integrated Logistics of Ghana together with GMI, where we want to design and fabricate a skid in Trinidad, but essentially partner with our Ghanaian companies to do the installation and the commissioning. Now, to shut down the TDS facility, I think all the Ghanaian people here will know that it will shut down supply to your country. So shutting down TDS is a massive issue. You have to actually schedule, and there is a shutdown plan for September of this year. And we now have to kind of cooperate and work together to see if we can actually make it work to do the final installation. So what I wanted to do was to share with you, we started this project in the middle of COVID-19, and that had its challenges. We had LGC in Trinidad, we had GHC in Ghana, we had the Integrated Logistics John Moore team in Ghana. So how were we going to do traditional engineering design procurement? Well, we had to do that virtually. And one of the tools that we developed in-house at NGC was we actually developed our 3D model. And this 3D model is what we were able to share across the screens virtually to facilitate, the learning and the sharing and the knowledge transfer to allow us to complete the design, the detailed design, for us to get into the construction and the procurement, etc. So I'm just going to call Evan. He's just going to give you just a very brief demonstration of how, this model actually worked. And he was actually the person, in the room with our colleagues in Ghana, actually working the details for 2 years now. So Evan.
2019, we had no idea what the facility looked like. And thanks to the Ghanaian team that they had already a 3D model established. So we were able to utilize the 3D model to have a better understanding of the facility. So as we see the establishment of the skid now that will be attached onto the existing facility, right? We have a 12-inch header that will be cut and installed into the existing manifold. We have double block and bleed valves. We have regulated valves installed to ensure the safety. We have filtering systems and whatnot. We have the skid that were installed on two civil plinths. We have the 14-inch that will be going on now to the outlet. This collaboration, as you could see, within the space was very limited. We had numerous variations. The skid was initially a lengthy one. We did not want to impact. There's a major underground 20-inch pipeline that runs underneath here. The GNGC team was asking us, please, let's not impact that existing line. Let's find a way. As you can see, the design team came up now with breaking the two chains into two separate skids. This two skid, when we assembled it, it came up to 59,000 kilograms in weight. How do we ship that? We had to disassemble all the piping, disassemble enough to be shipped with our team. Big support with our Ghanaian team, with the logistics part of it, even in the engineering. Full support, we couldn't have done it without them, and we were able to come up with a best fit design and be able to as you can see, be able for the operators to continue normal operation while we install the new proposed. Once installed, this skid will be fully automated onto the facility, and the operators will have full autonomy to operate and manage this engine. Thank you very much.
The Paramount Chiefs and Queen Mothers, the chairman of the NGC Group, Mr. Dr. Joseph Ishmael Khan, and the directors of the NGC Group, presidents of the NGC Group of companies, the leadership teams, members of His Majesty's entourage in attendance, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media. It is indeed a pleasure, an honor, and a privilege to have His Royal Highness here with us today with his entourage. And as I sat there listening in the presence of royalty, I recall very vividly my trip with the Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Rowley to Ghana in 2016. And there are a number of things that will forever be with me from that visit to Ghana. We did visit one of the gas processing facilities out on the west coast, and it was with a sense of pride, the same way Mr. Mohammed spoke, that you got that from the Ghanaian people. And that is something that we must make sure continues with our people as we go forward. But the second most memorable moment for me that changed the course of my thinking a few years ago when I was a lot younger, or at least I felt a lot younger, was when we visited an old slave post on the coast. And I had studied West Indian history up to A-levels, and in particular wrote my papers on the atrocities of the African slave trade. And to now see it firsthand and no longer in a book where you read about it, it moved me in ways that nothing else could. And I remember walking down to as far as you could go, not all the way to the beach, and to see where they held our ancestors, our African brothers and sisters back then. And it's at that moment in time that I took a personal decision that anything that I can do in whatever God asked me to do going forward, I would. And coming into the energy sector, in the energy sector and the global energy sector in particular, if we do not work closer, and Your Royal Highness, you said it on Monday in our meeting with the Prime Minister, as countries on the southern side of the world, if we do not take the decisions now and work together, unbeknownst to many, there is another wave of colonialism that is taking place, especially in the energy sector. And I can say here, with humility and maybe a pinch of pride, that we have been leading the charge against this on the global stage. And it was not too long ago in Cairo, Egypt, when we were participating in the Gas Exporters Countries Forum, which is the GECF, which is a small gathering of 58% of the gas owners in the world, that Trinidad and Tobago, small Trinidad and Tobago, made one significant intervention. And all of the countries at the table took it on board and inserted it into our ministerial statement. And I will tell you what the intervention was. I made a plea because I am seeing once again what is going on the continent of Africa. Africa has significant hydrocarbon resources. Africa is one of the continents that does not have the type of energy security for its people because of how wide and diverse the continent is. So there are still areas in Africa where you're sitting on significant hydrocarbon resources, but those in the wealthy, developed world are taking decisions that it should not be financed, or when it should be exploited, how it should be exploited, that it should be exported as opposed to being utilized for the persons, the citizens, our brothers and sisters in Africa. And my intervention was as follows, that we have a responsibility to call upon the financial institutions as well as the multinational oil and gas companies to properly develop, along in cooperation with the African citizens, the utilization of your God-given hydrocarbon resources. And it was accepted and inserted into the ministerial statement. As you see, Your Majesty, I am a strong believer that we must take hold of our own destiny. And it is up to us at this time now that we get together. And every time I'm on an international platform and I speak about the hypocrisy of what I see taking place today in Europe, when they tell us that we must have less carbon emissions, we must clean up the environment, we must do this, we must do that Africa must not develop its hydrocarbon resources. But when the Russia-Ukraine war took place on the 24th of February last year, the first thing they did is restart every single coal plant they could, which is the worst emitter into the atmosphere. And maybe stupidly I've been calling them out for it. But the next point I make is that if the CARICOM region, as small as we are, work along with Latin America and Africa, we will be a voice that everyone must take note of when deciding policies going forward. So, Your Royal Highness, it is a plea that I make to you as but one individual in a small country, but one with great beliefs that we can take control of our destiny. And for you and your delegation, as powerful as it is here today, to know that you have a partner in Trinidad and Tobago, and that you have a team that is on standby at any moment to work not only with you in Ghana, but throughout the continent of Africa, to make sure that your people are provided with the opportunity to develop their resources, because it is your resources. It is not the resources of those with much money. And to do it in a manner that will benefit your people, because that is part of the fight that we have been undertaking in the last 7 or 8 years here in Trinidad and Tobago. Your Majesty, it is my privilege to sit as close to a king as I ever will. But to let yourself and your delegation know that in Trinidad and Tobago, you have a partner that is on standby and ready to take up the charge, and we need to do it now for the generations to come, and don't let them close us out. And I suspect very soon I won't be able to travel to many of these countries. So welcome to Trinidad and Tobago, which is a home. It also struck me when I was there and we were reading the names, that you have many of those names today. One that stood out in my mind was Commoner, and then you have Mitchells, and you have all of these names. You are here in Trinidad and Tobago amongst us. Welcome home, and please do enjoy the rest of your visit here, and I hope that it is not the last visit here, but most importantly, the energy sector of Trinidad and Tobago stands ready, and at your behest to work with Ghana as well as our brothers and sisters on the continent to do what is right for our people. Thank you.
Which assures the owner that it is a genuine, bespoke, mid-coast steel pan, handcrafted in Trinidad and Tobago by our skilled artisans. Mid-coast steel pans are manufactured using the highest quality virgin bronze. The material, coupled with highly skilled builders and tuners, allows the instrument to be durable while achieving excellent sound and a well-balanced range of notes.
Let's see
Your Majesty, when we saw you playing the band, we knew you had to take one back with you.
So on behalf of the NGC, we say thank you for being here. It's an honor, a pleasure, a privilege, and we want you to have this to remember us. Thank you very much.
One good gift deserves another, they say. So this is a small token from the king to you adorn it when you go for a dinner. And you tell them that this is a gift from the king himself.
So am I a prince now?
And it's handwoven by the best of his craftsmen.
Thank you very much.
Amagana ni asante maise. Otumfuo Osei Tutu otosumienu se wonhwewachio. Krabi asante kotokodishi Otumfuo Osei Tutu